Hello everybody and welcome back to Advanced Maths. Today we're looking at the chain rule for differentiation. The chain rule is for differentiating composite functions. That's functions that look like this. That's where we've got one function inside of another function. And for these functions I've color coded it so you can see the green function inside of the red function. We write composite functions like this where it's f of g of x. Where f of x is one function and g of x is the input to that function. We'll differentiate this by differentiating the f and then multiplying it by the derivative of g. Let's see that again. Differentiate f and then multiply by the derivative of g. Like that. If you can remember that pattern, that is the chain rule. Let's see this in action now. So we're going to differentiate y equals 5x squared plus 8 to the power 3. This is two separate functions. It's a green function and a red function. The f of x is something cubed and the g of x is 5x squared plus 8. We'll start by differentiating the f. We differentiate something cubed and that becomes 3 times something squared, where the something is the g of x inside the bracket. Now we need to differentiate the g of x inside the bracket. 5x squared plus 8 differentiates to 10x, and that gets multiplied there. I'm assuming you know how to differentiate powers and simple functions because you're watching this video. If you're not perfectly happy with differentiating normal functions, you should watch my video on differentiating powers before we continue. I will link that in the description. We can simplify this to the 10x times 3 becomes 30x and we've finished. That is the chain rule done. Now let's see some more examples. So find the gradient of the following equations when x equals 2. f of x equals x squared minus 8x to the power 5. We'll start with that one. And I've highlighted it, color-coded it, so you can see the f and the g. We differentiate the f, and it becomes 5 times something to the power 4. Then differentiate inside the bracket, x squared minus 8x differentiates to 2x minus 8. And that gets multiplied on the outside. We now have this, which we can simplify a little bit by just expanding the 5 times the bracket, and we've done. That is a derivative, but now we can evaluate this by finding the gradient at x equals 2 by substituting x equals 2 into these equations. So f dash of 2 is given by this, and we type that into a calculator, and we get a crazy big number. We get minus 414,720. And that's the final answer. Now let's look at example 2. We've got g of x equals the square root of x plus 7x plus 5. And this is the same as g of x equals 7x plus 5 to the power of half. Remember, a square root is the same as the power of a half. And to differentiate, you must make it to a power first. We'll differentiate the g, that part, and that becomes a half times the bracket to the power minus a half. And then 7x plus 5 differentiates to 7, so we multiply outside by 7. This simplifies to this. Just remember the minus a half makes it a divide by a square root, and you can simplify it like this. We can now substitute x equals 2 into this equation and type this into a calculator, and we get this. And that is the final answer. That is the chain rule for a square root function. Finally, we've got h of x equals sine of x, 8x plus 1. You might not be familiar with differentiating sine, but all it is sine differentiates to cos, cos differentiates to minus sine. Okay? Don't worry too much about it if you're not completely familiar with this. All you need to know is sine differentiates to cos. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to differentiate the red part first. Sine differentiates to cos, And then inside the bracket, 8x plus 1 differentiates to 8. So we multiply by 8 on the outside. And that's a derivative there. Now we can evaluate it at x equals 2. And type that into our calculator. And we get minus 2.2. That's the final answer. Now I've got some practice questions for you to try. I'd like to pause the video and try this yourself. It should take you maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do all 5 of these questions. But when you're ready, press play and I'll reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Did you get it correct? Let me know how well you did in the comments below. Thanks for watching this week's video from Advance Maths. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. We're covering GCSE, A-Level and IB Maths videos quick and simply, and new videos will be coming very soon. Thanks for watching and good luck in your exams.